Our next speaker is someone who exemplifies in many ways the current state of universities today. Dr. Julie-Ann Robson has a PhD from the Australian National University. She works as a general staff member at the University of Sydney and also as a casual academic at the University of Western Sydney. So she's uniquely well placed, I think, to talk about a number of the paradoxes and constraints that bear on university staff today. So please welcome Julie-Ann.
Thank you all for coming and for being part of the collegiate body that is National Alliance for Public Universities, or their supporters. It's wonderful to see you all here. I guess the things that I'd really like to talk about are to do with low SES students. I would have been classed as a low SES student once upon a time. I come from a low SES background. That doesn't mean that my parents weren't professional or that I wasn't the first person to go to university. That's not the case. They were both nurses, and of course growing up with going along the bus, in the bus with my mother past the University of New South Wales. This was before Whitlam when I was a little girl. Mum used to say, "Oh, university, that's where the rich kids go." I don't want the next generation of students to have to be told that's where the rich kids go. Yeah. I think one of the things that really concerns me is the extent to which the universities, or particularly the sandstone universities, are talking about how they're going to have money for scholarships, and there'll be plenty of scholarships for low SES students. The reason they're going to have that is because the people in the finance departments, as we speak, are working out how much of a levy they can put on full fee paying students in order to create these scholarships. The scholarships aren't going to come out of thin air. Students are going to be paying for those, and those debts that they're going to have, we don't know if it's going to be a $100,000 degree or not, but those debts will be lengthened because they'll be paying this kind of levy for the low SES students. And we're looking, in that case, at a two-tier system. There will be the full fee paying students and the scholars. And you just have to look back in history to see that that was not the way that universities produced the best and brightest, although a few did get through. What I'd also like to say is that I'm concerned about what's actually going to happen to that debt. If you have a $100,000 degree, then you're going to have a $100,000 debt, which is going to continue to compound. My concern is that debt will be sold off. It's certainly something that's being mooted, and for that debt to be sold off, it's no longer a debt to the government, it's a debt to a private institution, and they will pursue you until you pay that debt. I'd also like to say that as a person who was from a low SES background, the probability of going on to a higher degree, even to go on to honours, is going to extend your debt. Honours, of course, is being phased out at many institutions because they'd rather you do a master's degree. That's 2 years' worth of debt instead of one. And for you to consider going on to do a higher degree when you don't have that backing of money in the family is going to be quite a risk. I know when I was considering going to university, I was told by someone to go and do education or social work. I was only a woman after all. So what did I do? I went and studied philosophy and English. Went on and did a PhD on Oscar Wilde, so that's really useful. But I suppose what I'm saying is that we have to be concerned about the extent to which education is going to be monetised, and the career prospects at the end are going to be crucial. Universities are currently considering how they're going to ensure, build the graduate experience so that it then goes on into the private sector and those sorts of things. These are all concerns that I think we all have, because we at the universities are here we're interested in intellectual engagement, not in making sure that our students get high-paying jobs at the end. We're talking about, for example, a student with a very large debt wanting to go into legal aid, but having to go into a big corporate institution because because of the weight of the debt that they have. So these are some of the concerns that I have. I know there's some of the concerns that our Alliance has, and the Alliance is a really important voice, I think, against this very small group of 8 who are managers, remember. They're not part of the collegial group that are the teachers and the researchers and the general staff, the gardeners, the people who work at the institutions, who care about the institutions, not about the short-term gain of their own career and their salary bonus. Okay, thank you.